Good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast on Channel Live, where we bring you the top stories from home and around the world. I'm Nathalia Veeravathana.
Good evening, I'm Clifford Richards. First of all, we take a look at the headlines.
The President says not-for-profit state institutions should provide an efficient service to the public. The coronavirus infects around 800 persons worldwide. Attorney-at-law Ajit Prasanna remanded until the 7th of next month. Parliamentarian Vijayadas Rajapaksa says all members of the Constitutional Council should be held responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks. A 50 rupee certified price per kilo of paddy of the Maha cultivation season determined upon the instructions of the President. Sajith Premadasa reappointed as the Deputy Leader of the United National Party.
And now on the top story, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says not-for-profit state organizations must provide an efficient service to the public. The President made this comment when he met with the new chairpersons and senior management officials of state corporations and statutory boards today. The meeting was held at the Presidential Secretariat. Officials at state corporations who are directly involved in providing services to the public and in contributing to the national economy were present. The President pointed out it is the duty of the heads of institutions to eradicate inefficiencies in state-owned institutions and earn a profit so as to not be a burden on the state. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said state institutions have become the topic of conversation in society as they have become loss-making entities and are a burden to the Treasury. The President noted such entities need to be transformed into profit-making institutions. He added even if they do not earn a profit, they should be able to provide an efficient service to the public. He noted there are certain institutions that can be vastly developed. As an example, the President cited mineral sands, which can be transformed into a high-income earning entity. President Rajapaksa said as a government, they will extend fullest support in this regard. He noted as a country, there are larger challenges in achieving these objectives. The President pointed out in the years between 2005 and 2014, an economic growth rate of 7 to 8% was achieved. He said back then we were a country in the forefront in Asia. He added now the country has fallen to a level lower than that of Afghanistan. He says in his manifesto he has clearly pointed out the objectives that need to be achieved.
අෆ්ගනිස්තානයටත් වඩා අවාසනාවකට පහළ තත්ත්වයකට 2%ටත් වඩා අඩු ආර්ථික වර්ධනයක් තියෙන තැනකට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් විශාල අභියෝගයක් තිබුණා. නමුත් මේක අපිට කරන්නට පුළුවන්. මගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ සෑම ශාස්ත්‍රයකම අපි ලබාගත යුතු ඉලක්කය මොකක්ද කියන එක පැහැදිලිවම පිළියෙල තියෙනවා.
Presidential Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara and advisor to the President Lalit Veeratunga also joined in the discussion.
Well, the coronavirus has infected over 800 individuals across the world, resulting in 26 deaths so far. Sri Lankan Airlines has taken preventive measures against the virus. Well, the virus has been identified in countries like US, Britain, Taiwan, South Korea, Thailand, Japan, Hong Kong, Vietnam and also Singapore. The highest number of infected persons has been reported from China. Entry and exit in the Wuhan area of China, including another 9 cities, has been prohibited, whilst authorities have taken steps to temporarily halt all public transportation services. The day-to-day activities of around 20 million citizens have been adversely affected. In addition, a number of festivities that were scheduled to be held in Beijing and Hong Kong in view of the Chinese Lunar New Year that has dawned have been cancelled. Public gatherings in these areas have been banned, whilst a state of emergency has been declared in a number of places, including Beijing and Shanghai. The conditions caused by this virus are fever, difficulty in breathing, common cold which develops into pneumonia. The disease spreads through human contact. Investigations have revealed that the virus is transmitted between animals and humans as well. However, this has not yet been confirmed. So far, a cure for the disease has not been found. Well, airports in a number of countries have been installed with special scanners to identify persons infected by the virus. 3 special scanners were installed at the arrivals terminal of the Katnag airport recently to prevent infected individuals entering the country. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi spoke of the situation in Parliament today. The minister said passengers are being advised while on board the flight itself that there is a health screening centre at the airport, and if passengers suffer any symptoms, even mildly, to appear for a screening at the centre. A team of medical specialists has been deployed around the clock at the airport. The minister said as a government they have taken all necessary steps in this regard. She added that so far there have been no reported cases in the country.
Colombo High Court Judge Dhammika Ganepula today ordered that retired Major Attorney at Law Ajith Prasanna be remanded until the 7th of next month. This order was given when the retired major appeared before court in response to summons served on him in connection with an incident which involved charges of contempt of court. At the hearing, the judge instructed the prison superintendent to take steps to direct the respondent for a medical examination conducted by the Colombo Judicial Medical Officer for a report to be obtained on his mental health status. Senior State Counsel Janaka Bandara stated before court that retired Major Ajith Prasanna, who is an attorney himself, insulted the judiciary through severe criticism voiced against Colombo High Court Judge Gihan Kulatunga at a press conference held on the 12th of this month. The State Counsel said the case has been filed under the 18th clause of the Judiciary Act, which details the penalties involved for insulting a High Court judge. The State Counsel pointed out under the provisions, if found guilty, the High Court is empowered to sentence an accused to 5 years of imprisonment or rigorous imprisonment. Appearing before court, Attorney at Law Ajith Prasanna said that he has lodged a complaint with the Judicial Services Commission against High Court Judge Gihan Kulatunga and that the complaint is being taken up for inquiry. He further stated he does not object the request put forward by the State Counsel calling for a medical examination on mental health. The case was postponed to the 7th of next month.
Parliamentarian Vijayadas Rajapaksa, speaking in Parliament today, said all members of the Constitutional Council should be held responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks. Parliamentarian Vijayadas Rajapaksa said that although a 3-decade-long war prevailed in the country, never did such incidents like the Easter Sunday attacks, in which a number of churches and 5-star hotels were bombed in coordinated attacks. He alleged the Constitutional Council, which was established to create an independent state service and an independent judiciary, should be held responsible for the attacks. The MP further stated that when the IGP was to be appointed, he proposed a suitable name together with 3 suitable nominees. The MP stated when the name of Pujit Jayasundar was proposed, he objected as the proposed nominee was not suitable for this post. The MP said although he pointed out that senior DIG S.H. Wickramasingham was the most suitable, the Constitutional Council opposed the proposal as the nominee was a security official of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Parliamentarian Vijayadas Rajapaksa alleged that he was expelled from the United National Party since he did not influence the courts to pronounce verdicts favourable to the then government.
The EU Election Monitoring Mission, in its final report, states the 2019 presidential election was peaceful and the Elections Commission managed the election process well. However, they point out at future elections, laws need to be strengthened with regard to election propaganda financing, media behaviour, social media activities and women's representation. The EU Election Monitoring Mission released its final report in Colombo today under the patronage of Chief Elections Monitor Marisa Matias. The final report details 23 recommendations.
We noted that the Election Commission carried out its work credibly and professionally. Technical aspects of the electoral process were held administrative and key operational deadlines were met. However, we noted that although women are well represented among the many electoral staff, very few were appointed as senior officers. The European Union Electoral Observation Mission interlocutors expressed confidence in the accuracy and inclusiveness of the vote register, When it comes to the election campaign, we noted that campaigning on the ground was peaceful and the atmosphere calm, despite a small number of violent incidents. There were many allegations of the misuse of state resources, mostly related to offers of public service jobs at all levels of public administration. The financing of campaigning and of political parties remains unregulated. This deprived the election of an element of transparency and contributed to an uneven playing field. Pre- and post-election complaints on this issue, most of the concerned breaches of campaign rules, the Election Commission published consolidated daily reports on complaints received on its website, but with no details of its follow-up actions. Election day itself was peaceful and orderly, with only a few violent incidents reported. The European Union Electoral Observation Mission observers assessed positively the voting process in the 297 polling stations observed. Polling was efficient and procedures were largely followed. However, in 37% of the observed polling stations, the layout did not sufficiently protect the secrecy of the vote. Counting was observed in 25 out of 38 district counting centers, and it was assessed overall as well organized and transparent. The tabulation of the results at district and national level observed by the European Union Electoral Observation Mission observers was conducted in a transparent manner.
The first floating solar power plant was declared open in Kilinochi today. Norwegian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Trina Jurenli Eskandar, was the chief guest. Well, this floating solar power plant was established in the premises of the Kilinochi Engineering Faculty, which is affiliated to the University of Jaffna. The project is expected to add a capacity of 42 kilowatts to the national grid. The plant was constructed as a joint project launched by the University of Jaffna and the Western Norwegian University of Applied Sciences. The cost involved has been established as 30 million rupees. The Norwegian ambassador addressed the gathering.
Having access to electricity from clean energy resources, such as this floating solar panel, will have a huge impact on people's lives. Coal-fired power plants have serious effects on local air quality, and the carbon emissions have considerable impact on climate change. Indoor pollution from cooking stoves is also one of the most important causes of premature death. Solar power has a critical role to play in the transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy.
Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says one of the main objectives of the government is to transform the tourism industry into the main foreign exchange earning source of the country. The minister expressed these views at a gathering of provincial governors and officials held at the Tourism Board today. This initiative will be underway upon a tourism promotion program designed upon the instructions of the President. The government's objective is to earn $10 billion annually, and it has been identified that collaboration between the central government, local government institutions and entities affiliated with the tourism industry is a necessity. Agreement was reached on granting allocations and other support to identify tourist attraction sites at provincial level and upgrade them. The minister requested the governors to forward proposals in this regard within 2 weeks. At the gathering, the governors and officials working in the tourism industry put forward a number of views and issues. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said speedy solutions will be given in raising the tourism industry to a developed level. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said the government has to take responsibility on behalf of all tourists who visit the country until the end of their stay. He points out when the hospitality of our country is propagated in other countries, tourists will voluntarily visit our country in large numbers. Deputy Minister Arundika Fernando said a large number of investors interested in investing in the tourism industry are focused on lands. He further stated as a ministry they will provide their fullest support in attracting investors, identifying such lands and utilizing them.
Welcome back to the news, and we have more local stories to follow with. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has decided to enforce a certified price of 50 rupees for a kilo of paddy of the Maha cultivation harvest. The president says this move has been taken in order to empower the farmers and also make the country self-sufficient in rice. Well, the release issued by the Presidential Secretariat states that the proper standard is for the maximum moisture level to be 14% in the stocks received at the paddy purchasing centres. Meanwhile, stocks in which the moisture level is above 14% but below 20% will be identified, and a kilo of these stocks will be purchased at 44 rupees. The government intends to spend 100 billion rupees for this purpose. The projected paddy production this year will suffice to meet the demand of rice over a period of 9 months. The services of rice mill owners will be obtained to dry paddy that is not up to standard. Thereby, it has been decided to pay 4 rupees per kilo to rice mill owners for this purpose. The purchasing of paddy will take place through the Paddy Marketing Board and district secretaries. The contribution of the Triforces will be obtained to systemize and also expedite the process. In addition, state banks in the area will be ordered to remain open throughout the week in the paddy purchasing process, as it has been decided to credit the payments to the farmers' bank accounts on the same day.
Appointments were made for important portfolios of the United National Party today. Party sources state leader of the UNP, former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, has taken steps to reappoint Sajid Premadasa to the post of Deputy Leader of the UNP. Former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, in his capacity as leader of the United National Party, appointed opposition leader Sajid Premadasa as the deputy leader of the party and parliamentarian Ravi Karunayaka as the assistant leader of the party. Discussions were also held between former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya and opposition leader Sajid Premadasa on appointing office bearers to the working committee. Discussions will continue tomorrow as well, and all appointments to the working committee are due to be completed by Monday. General Secretary of the UNP, Akilaviraj Karyavasam, says that the next date on which the working committee will convene has not been decided. The General Secretary further stated issues pertaining to the leadership of the party will be resolved with the agreement of all.
Meanwhile, parliamentarian V. Radhakrishnan says his party will go solo at the forthcoming parliamentary election and will not contest under the United National Party. 4 parliamentarians representing his party, which is the Tamil Progressive Front, were elected to Parliament through the United National Front at the last general election. Parliamentarian V. Radhakrishnan says it raises questions as to how they can contest the forthcoming election, given the crisis in the UNP, as it is not clear how the election-related activities will be carried out. It is not clear as to who the party leader is and who is leading the campaign. A proposal has been put forward for his party to contest separately.
බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ තුරු නැගෙනහිර හැර අනික් පළාතවල දෙමළ ප්‍රගතිශීලී සන්ධානයේ තනියම ඡන්දය ඉල්ලන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Well, those are the local stories. We take a short break and we'll be back with international stories shortly.
And on sports news, the Sri Lanka national deaf cricket team is engaged in training sessions these days. They are focusing on the upcoming tournament against India, which is due to begin on the 29th of this month. The Sri Lanka national deaf cricket team defeated India last year and claimed the trophy in the Cricket World Cup for deaf players. The Sri Lanka side will be captained by Gimuth Malcolm, who represented the Panadura team in the Interclub cricket tournament recently. And the India national deaf cricket team is due to arrive in the island on the 28th. They will play 3 ODIs and 1 T20. Sri Lanka's coach will be Shanta Gunaratna.
And that's the usual cue to end the news. Do enjoy the rest of the program. Take care and good night.
Good night.